these? Oh my God, breasts! How does anybody practice medicine holding these things around? And what do we got back here? Let's see if I remember my anatomy. Glutes, right? Let's study them. Shall we gather around and check out the booty that put Izzy Stevens through med school? Have you had enough, or should I continue, because I have a few more very interesting tattoos?
Just now Stevens walked into Rick's hospital room ready to give him a physical exam. But to her shock, Rick insisted Stevens wasn't a real doctor and called her a prostitute, saying she wasn't fit to examine him. He demanded a different doctor come to check on him. Then Rick picked up the magazine he had with him and asked Stevens if that was her on the cover. Stevens admitted that it was indeed her in the magazine. Rick told Stevens to get out of the room later. Bailey asked Stevens how the exam went, but Stevens couldn't give her a proper answer. So Bailey decided to examine Rick herself. Stevens had no choice but to follow Bailey into the room. But the moment Rick saw Stevens, he blew up in anger.
I want her out of here. Just get her out of here. You go! Now! Just go now!
After finishing the exam, Bailey asked Stevens why the patient had such an attitude toward her. Stevens explained that she had done some revealing work before and hoped Bailey would assign another intern to take over Rick's next treatment. But Bailey refused. With no other options, Stevens had to continue treating Rick. The next day, when Stevens arrived at work, she found her locker room covered with her photos. Ivrion in the room was teasing and mocking her. Alex even mocked her publicly. Stevens finally snapped and lost her temper.
What are these? Oh my God, breasts! How does anybody practice medicine holding these things around? And what do we got back here? Let's see if I remember my anatomy. Glutes, right? Let's study them. Shall we gather around and check out the booty that put Izzy Stevens through med school? Have you had enough, or should I continue, because I have a few more very interesting tattoos? You want to call me Dr. Model? Just remember that while you're sitting on 200 grand of student loans, I'm out of debt.
After that, Stevens walked out of the room and found Rick, confronting him about why he'd done this. It turned out Stevens wasn't the prostitute Rick had accused her of being. Instead, she'd worked as an underwear model for a magazine in college to pay for her tuition. Rick's twisted behavior stemmed from his own inner inferiority and physical disabilities. At the same time, Rick shared his true feelings with Stevens.
I fantasized about it. And they're gonna lift up my legs and expose me to the world and cut out my prostate and my nerves, effectively neuter me.